This is big, guys, because there was a couple things, okay, where the survivors made this video and they said that they're not moving on. And guys, I've talked about this, okay? I've done battle with a lot of people over this Epstein stuff because I've covered this, and I've done battle with people both on Twitter and in my YouTube comments of people saying there's never going to be any consequences. Like, nothing's ever going to happen with this, blah, blah, blah. And my thing is like, no, we're not going to give up, okay? I don't think the survivors are going to give up. I think the survivors, there is like enough, you know how shit, once it gets out in the light, you just sort of can't stop it. I feel like there's enough of this shit that is out now that it's reached a critical mass. Like, it's on the downhill. It went up a bell curve and it got over the edge, okay? And now the survivors have said shit like, you know what? We're going to release the names in 5 days or whatever. I don't know how accurate that is, but I did see some shit on Twitter that we should look at. But let's look at this video. And dude, in Europe, they're all stepping down and shit, okay? In Europe, everybody is stepping down that's connected to it. Here in America, dude, the MAGAs, they celebrate this shit.
After years of being kept apart, we're standing together.
Standing together.
Because this girl deserves the truth.
Because she deserves the truth. Because we all deserve the truth.
Dude, they're kids, bro. Dude, I love how you notice how it's also WWE, right? World without exploitation. Another WWE. I like that. That's a nice little attention to detail. But like, guys, it's so crazy. I mean, when you see this shit, when you see how young these people are, like Annie Farmer, dude, she was so young, okay? They're like some of them are so young. You know what I mean? It's like crazy how, and these aren't even the youngest among them, and like, it's crazy, but really wild. 3 million files, guys, which means like 40% of this stuff has not been released. 40% is not getting released. Okay. Right? 40% just being hidden. And what they did release was like doxed victims, okay? Had, unclothed pictures of young victims, okay? Doxed and exposed, and all of that shit was supposed to be covered, and they purposely left a whole bunch of victims out in the vulnerable limelight, and they redacted, politicians and rich people. They redacted people that they shouldn't have been redacting, people that worked for Epstein, just crazy how cumbersome it was. And then there were things like this, guys, okay? There were things like this document. I'm going to show you one right now. This shit is like, blows my mind that they did this. Look at this. 338 pages, guys. Completely redacted. Right? Look at that. Isn't that nuts? Like, what is this, bro? Illegal. This is illegal. This is complete nonsense. This is totally illegal. This is breaking the law. They're breaking a federal law right here. And isn't that insane? That kind of shit. Dude, it feels like all of these people should be investigated. There is a thing that says it's called the pedo bowl This was on the walls. They have the Epstein files leaders. And look at this. They projected this onto a building right by the Super Bowl. And so Donald Trump, 5,300 mentions. Okay? Elon Musk had 1,465. Bill Gates with 2,592. Okay? And then Steve Bannon had even more, 2,901. Okay? Bill Clinton, 1,200. Right? And then Prince Andrew, Peter Thiel, and Howard Lutnick were all in business with him. Right? But isn't that crazy? Like that Trump, 5,300. Okay? Dude, Elon, 1,400. Dude, Clinton's the least. So it goes Trump, Bannon, Gates, Elon, Clinton. Clinton's on the bottom. And the only person that they want to investigate is Clinton, the guy with the least number of mentions. I mean, I feel like some shit is about to break with this stuff. Okay? But this is crazy. Right? Remember these guys? Remember when MAGA cared about this shit, guys? Remember when MAGA was like, yeah, Epstein files. Look at them with their binders. They're smiling. They're like, dude, we're going to release this shit. Now they're not even talking about it. Trump is in it 5,300 times, 4 times as much as Bill Clinton. They don't even care. They don't even care. They're not even looking for these people anymore. They're not doing shit. Bro, isn't it crazy? It's insane that they don't care at all. They have completely abandoned this shit. Okay? Now, they said that they're not going to prosecute. I don't know if you guys saw this, but like, look at this. They said they're not prosecuting.
Thank you. You said this is the end of the Epstein, of your review of the Epstein files. So just to clarify, is the public going to learn the identities of the men who abused the girls with the information that you're releasing? And if not, why not? And then I have a quick follow-up.
I mean, you just baked in an assumption into your question that I have never said and I don't know to be true. Is the public going to learn about men that abuse these girls? Like, what does that mean? I mean, I don't understand what that means.
Dude, what do you mean you don't understand that means? That, like, Epstein, like, brought girls to men. Men abused them. The girls have testified to this. You know who these men are. Are you going to arrest and prosecute them? Like, you know what that fucking means, bro. Like, what an idiot, dude. By the way, this is Trump's personal lawyer. Yeah, gaslighting prick is a nice way of putting it.
Well, I mean, they're the men who abused the young women through Epstein's.
Look, we said in July, and it remains as true today as it was in July.
In July?
If we had information, we meaning the Department of Justice,
we said in July,
about men who abused women, we would prosecute them, right?
Yeah. See, so what he's saying is he's saying that there are 8 million files. There's 8 million files related to Jeffrey Epstein. And in 8 million of those files, the only man who abused a woman in those 8 million files, the only one is Jeffrey? Nah. Every single survivor has said they were given to men, other men. So, like, where are those other men? Why are those other men not being heavily investigated? Dude, what the fuck is he talking about there, boss? Right?
We would prosecute them, right? We talked about the work that we're doing. That's why I said that. I said this earlier. There's this built-in assumption that somehow there's this hidden tranche of information of men that we know about that we're covering up or that we're choosing not to prosecute. That is not the case. I don't know whether there are men out there that abuse these women.
Dude, what an idiot, bro. Like, that is so smarmy.